the Nuns with Nunchucks pre-show part 2. I'm Jesse Impinella from the hit show At the Grown-Ups Table, and we're coming at you from Rookie Mage Game HQ with its founder, Mr. Jordan McLaughlin, and we are going to be talking about Nuns with Nunchucks, which means we are only 1 week away from launch, Tuesday, March 28th. Thank you so much for having me here. This is awesome.
I know. I'm super excited. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, last week we talked a lot about Rookie Mage Game as a whole in all your games, but now I want to talk about one thing specifically. The reason why we're all here, Nuns with Nunchucks.
Yeah.
So what is this game?
So it is a battle card game of like the craziest combatants that I could ever think of. A lot of these will seem like weird fever dreams of Abraham Lincoln's evil twin brother, or the cryogenically frozen head of Jeff Bezos. The craziest, nuttiest things, I put them into a card game.
This is definitely, it's like you drank a lot and you're like, all right, this is a character, we're making this happen. I love it, and that's the, like you said in the last interview, the spirit of you. You know, it's in the game and it has that great sense of humor with it, and I think that makes these games really, really fun. Now, where did you get the inspiration for this? So
I got a lot of inspiration from like old fighting video games. Like when I was a kid, I loved like Street Fighter games, Mortal Kombat and stuff. And so I always, the point of those games of like is the combos. Like that's how you win, is learning how to do combos. And so how can I kind of take that idea of like doing a fight and putting in combos and putting it into a card game? And so that's kind of how it got started at the idea. But then it was just like, okay, well, it's a cool mechanic of being able to tie these things together in a combo, but it's missing a little bit of ridiculousness.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, ridiculousness, I can definitely add that in. So I was messing around, and like I have like this notebook of where random stupid ideas go into. And so I went to my notebook and I had written down a while ago something that said Nuns with Nunchucks. I'm like, I know what to do. So it's Nuns with Nunchucks and the controversial combatants.
Now, I have a question. So you have this notebook. Have you ever like written something down and just you're so tired you look at the next day and you're like, what is this? Yeah. Like, what's one of the most WTF ones that you saw? Like, you're like, whoa, what is this? What is this?
Oh, man. I don't know if I can share that.
Because it might be a game or it might not be. We don't know yet.
Someone might steal it. You never
Someone
know.
might steal it, yeah.
But yeah, like, because like a lot of my ideas.
Cows and snowplows. We don't know.
See, I'm gonna steal that now.
Damn it!
Yeah.
You gotta be ready for this. This is the cutthroat area of the game world, my friends.
If it's an expansion pack.
It's an expansion pack.
An expansion pack.
Make me a character and we'll call it even. Okay. All right. There we go.
But yeah, like I get most of these weird ideas like as I'm like supposed to be falling asleep. So I'll be laying there and like an idea comes of like, ooh, Amish people from the future. So I have to get up and like go to my phone or go to my notebook and like write this down. And like my partner's trying to sleep, and like it's one of those nights of like, you've been up 3 times in the past 15 minutes. Go to bed. I'm like, but if I don't write it down, I'm gonna lose it.
just imagine you just popping up in cold sweat at 3 o'clock in the morning and just go, all right, Amish people from the future. Second of the desert.
You're not far off. That's pretty close.
Oh my god. But you know, that's one of the things you never can control when inspiration happens. It happens at any moment.
Yep.
And this game is filled with like so much inspiration because these combatants that you were telling us about are insane. And like, how did you come up with these?
Sometimes you see a show or like you read something and like it's like, oh, you know, killer clowns. And I'm like, yeah, killer clowns are funny, but cyborg killer clowns. You gotta up the ante just a little bit to make it ridiculous. So like there's no science behind it. It is literally, I see something, my brain makes it more ridiculous, and then I write it down and it becomes a character.
It's just kind of like almost like a generator. You're just trying to take two things that don't match. Because I like the whole Amish from the future. Because I just imagine like there has to be a point where they're looking at their kid going, listen, I know this is against what we believe in, but this machine looks cool. I want to go in this thing. And like, I wanted to see them get the buggy up to 88 miles an hour. It's just like, like that. What, we just lost our Amish audience here, so my bad. But no, but so like these characters, man, like what's one that when you came up with, you were just like, ooh, ooh, this is it.
So
like, I mean, because I know you, because a lot of your games, the artwork is amazing.
Oh yeah.
And so like, did you have one where you're like, ooh, this could be a cutout I could put somewhere?
So my favorite character, and it is beloved by me, and most people they think it's funny, but I think it's just the funniest thing ever. It's a duck suspected of murder. And you have to say it in that very dramatic way. I'm gonna look at the camera. A duck suspected of murder.
Just has randomly has a blade under its wing.
Yes. It has a knife behind its back.
Real? Oh yes! Yes!
It's got bloody footprints coming from it.
Oh, that's awesome. Now you talk about these combos that they have to do with the cards. So I imagine, is that how you? I'm not sure how much we can give away about the game. I don't want to give too much.
Yeah, we can talk about the game.
So so you're talking about just like how Mortal Kombat, you had to put combos down. So how does a player build a combo in the game?
So you start off with 3 cards in front of you. And I call those your on-deck cards.
Okay.
And all the different cards have different powers. So they can have an attack power, a heal power. Some of them have special powers where you get to pull a discarded card or destroy someone else's card. But how you really get combos going there is a stealth power and a go again power. Okay. So if I used a card and it had 1 attack and a go again, I would attack someone once, but then I get to use another on deck card. Mm-hmm. And let's say that one has a 2 attack. Well, I get to attack someone else for 2, but a stealth allows me to use one of the cards that I have in my hand. Mm-hmm. So it can kind of hide stuff and pull it out at the last second and chain stuff together.
Okay.
So I got something really good, I might not want to put it out front because someone might be able to steal it or destroy it. Okay. So I gotta hide it back a little bit. Mm-hmm. So you've got to use the stealth and the go agains to combo stuff together.
Oh, I love this. Because I bet, coming up with these combos, I bet you were that kid, like I said, growing up, when you played Mortal Kombat, you had the combos written down somewhere.
Oh,
you're
yes.
I just finally got this. I gotta make sure. So it's kind of interesting now. You're kind of almost writing the combos for your characters with cards. That's awesome. And all I can imagine is just the duck. I want
He's very dangerous.
He's very dangerous? All right. We got.
He's just suspected. He's probably going to get away with it.
Now, I imagine that there are so many characters that you probably came up with those. This is the one of the coolest fever dreams you can have with these characters. The box itself, I just want to grab this book. I just love the Nunchucks.
Yes.
I love that. It's so here's my question to you: are there characters that didn't make the cuts?
There are a lot of characters that didn't make the cuts.
And that's the expansion pack.
Yes.
So when you love this game, that's the expansion pack.
Yes, a lot of the characters I was figuring out what the age appropriateness of where stuff needed to be, and I'm I could make it, an adult 18 plus, but when I play test it with some teenagers and some younger kids, they really like it, and I don't want to make stuff that makes it so their parents don't let them.
Yeah.
So someday there might be a not safe for work expansion pack. I've already kind of called it the unholy pack since it's Nuns.
There you go.
But yeah, there's an Excel spreadsheet full of characters.
Could we get a sneak peek of one of these characters that didn't make the cut? Is it possible?
No,
it's okay.
This PG-13.
PG-13 people. Yes. This is just a like I said, I was talking about the art on here. The art is amazing. Who did this art?
So that is made by a guy. His name is Creeps McPeaks.
Creeps McPeaks.
So the story of how we kind of ended up working together on this is I had worked with some artists on some different things, but this game had a very different vibe than the other stuff that I had made. So I was kind of looking out of all right, where would I see art that matches this, and then I'm gonna hunt that person down and somehow convince them to do the illustration.
It's Craigslist, but it ends on the best case scenario. I finally found you. Can you make this art?
Yes, I will pay you for it.
I will pay you.
So. Me and my partner, we had gone to this place in Newark, Ohio. It's called the Tank House Brewery.
Yeah.
And we walk in, and all these characters are up on the wall.
Okay.
And then, but the art style is that's exactly the type of art style that I've been looking for. So I went up to the bartender and so basically just kind of annoyed her until she gave me his email address. I'm like, it's really good art. I'd really like to talk to this guy. He's like, oh yeah, I'll let him know. I'm like, yeah, but you could also just give him his email address.
I just love, if this ever becomes a biopic movie, there's gonna be a scene, somebody playing you just verbally waterboarding somebody for answers. So really, tell me, well, why don't you just give that over? Like you're just some beat cop. I love this. All right, keep going.
So I emailed him and I'm like, hey, this is a general idea of what's going on. Do you want to talk? And he's like, yeah, that sounds like fun. So he came over, we met a couple times, and I'm like, all right, like, why don't we try like a couple of the characters and like see how well you're understanding what I'm trying to get. Nailed it out of the park the first time.
All right.
Like most of the cards we never had to go back and make changes to.
Okay.
Because he just got it.
There you go.
So, like, it was amazing. It was the easiest art process I've ever been through. Not that I like could say anything about all the others. It's just I have trouble expressing what I have in my head to come out of my mouth to other people to understand.
Yes.
And he's apparently understands crazy talk, so he got it.
All right, listen, I need a nun. And they got nunchucks. All right, the duck murders people. Like,
he's just got it. Yeah. Done. But yeah, he's been amazing. He did all the art. He did like the cover. He helped on the logo. He's been awesome to work with. Like I'm already thinking about other projects I might end up working with him on.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. But I mean, like I said, I think that's one of the great things about this game is, on top of how fun it is, just like it looks fun.
Yeah.
Like this like immediately would like direct my eyes to if I saw this on a shelf. So Jordan, I'm looking through these cards, and these cards are just hysterical. I want to expand a little bit on these, like literally how they get to here to here. Like I'm looking at some of these. I just want to start with this one. Door-to-door salesman.
Yes.
Which is just simply a guy knocking on a door, and this is great. And what's so great about these cards is they got all these jokes written at the very bottom. This one is the second most pointless job ever created. What would you say is the first?
It's U.S. Senator.
There you go. There you go. But these are absolutely crazy creative. But so let me ask about this card, because this card is the namesake of the game right here. Nuns with Nunchucks, man. Like, and that rolls off the tongue, right?
Oh yeah.
Nuns.
As soon as I heard it, I'm like, well, that's a title for the game. Like, there was never another option once I heard that.
This is. Do they have names?
Yes.
Yes,
they all have names. Of course they all have names.
All right. I'm going to give you the card.
All right.
I want you to point to on the camera, point to who's who on there.
So there is Ethel, Patrice, and Helen, who was named after my grandmother.
Oh.
Who is not a nun, obviously.
Oh man, she's like, that doesn't look like me. It's like I talk about my grandmother in my comedy act, man. And she's like, that never happened. It's like, no, it didn't.
You just don't remember it. That
You just don't remember it. No,
selective memory. Grandmas are good at that.
Oh man, but yeah, I mean, now let me ask you this: did you come up with the card itself, or did you write the joke first, or did you write what came first?
Sometimes they were kind of a mix. Sometimes I knew a joke, I just had to find a character that kind of met with it. Most of them are like the characters came first.
Oh yeah.
And because some of them were hard to come up with. Like one of them is like the High Council of Boy Bands.
I got that one right.
And I had such a hard time with joke for it, and that eventually I was just listening to like a 90s playlist. I think it was 90s. And like the NSYNC Bye 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 came out, like Bye 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 Lost.
But these are just like, so let me ask you this. Inspiration comes when inspiration does come, all right? And because I'm a stand-up and I write jokes all the time. Now with this, did you tell yourself, okay, I'm coming to the office and I'm knocking out, maybe I'll get one card and try to create 10 jokes for each of them, or were you like one and done with like, this is it, that's the one?
Basically, I think of creativity as a resource. Okay. It's something that you can't force.
Oh yes.
If you've got it, then you gotta take advantage of it while you have it.
Yes.
So like there have been times over like, okay, it is Saturday, it is 3 p.m. But for whatever reason, my mind is creative right now. So I have to go to work.
Oh, okay.
Because I need to make creative stuff right now. So I've got to go to work and get this onto paper and get this into something to be used. And like, I'll take some time off later in the week. But like, there'll be nights where I'm like, I'm up till midnight writing jokes because that's when it worked.
Yeah.
Other than just sitting looking at a blank piece of paper for 6 hours, which has happened.
I call that the Lon Chaney creation, the Lon Chaney the werewolf. Because when creation hits, you're like, I gotta go.
Good now.
And you just like you peel out to get to the office and knock some of these out. Because I wanted to do the nun one. I forgot to say the joke about that. They will beat the love of God into you.
You will be saved whether you like it or not.
This is a show. Like, there's definitely, these characters are absolutely amazing. I'm gonna pull out a couple other ones that are just so ridiculous. Like, okay, let's talk about this one real quick. Prison Yard Magician.
Yes.
You don't know how he makes things disappear.
So, that one almost got on the chopping block. I was like, they're gonna understand it, but technically I don't say it, so it's okay, right?
I mean, a magician never reveals his secrets.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's for all we know, he actually has magic.
I mean, this guy looks like he knows magic. I mean, he does. I mean,
yes.
I just love how the rabbit's also in an orange jumpsuit and Crocs. That's just great.
Yeah, that was actually 100% the illustrator's idea.
Oh, that's cool.
Like he showed it to me. I'm like, that's brilliant.
And here's one I think everybody can get down with: emotional support tequila.
Now, you do what you got to do sometimes, you know.
Listen. I'm going to say this right now. Business aspect. See if you can, mail a bottle out with the game. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
You get your actual. You got a label now. You're like, I'm a game maker and I have alcohol. Boom.
Yeah.
There it is. Game night right there.
An entrepreneur.
There you go. Let's see. You can't feel depressed if you can't feel anything. There you go. That's a beautiful message. That needs to be on there.
Thanks. It's motivational.
It's very motivational.
Yeah.
It's better than that drink responsible.
By the way, drink responsibly.
Drink responsibly.
Lawyer's gonna be after me.
Like, you have to do it, all right? Okay, this is another one we talked about previously. Amish people, but from the future.
So there's some people that have trouble with that joke, and I totally understand why people have trouble with the joke of like, but it's not any different. I'm like, yeah, I know. But they would just be the same, like they would still be regular Amish people. I'm like, yeah, that's the joke. Like, I think it's funny.
That's why you can't. That's exactly why you couldn't make a time traveling fantasy with Amish characters as your main characters.
Yes.
You're like, what? Was it last week? No, it's 2 weeks ago. What? 3 years? It's the same. It's all the same. No, yeah. Oh my god. And they got the butter and everything. Basically the same lineup. That's pretty cool. And this one we talked about earlier that I just love. And this is a T-shirt right here. Okay, yes. This is a T-shirt. All right, a duck suspected of murder.
When you're playing the game, that's the only way you're allowed to say that.
Now, could you give it to us?
Murder.
Do it the way you did before when we did
a duck. Wait, I gotta look away.
Yeah.
A duck suspected of murder.
I heard the dum dum. Wait.
Like the long noise.
I just love that. Not only does he have a knife, but the knife is serrated. Not only is he a killing machine, but he's a perfect killing machine.
I gotta give my uncle props for that joke at the bottom.
Yeah.
A crime most foul. So thanks, Uncle Jim. I totally stole it.
That's very good. All right. Then here we go. Navy SEAL. And he will avenge his fallen brethren. And as you mentioned earlier, he's dressed as.
Oh, he's totally Rambo. There's no way around it. He's Rambo.
Yeah, pretty much. He's pretty much. I just love his dead, cold, beady eyes. I mean, that's just the way they all are. I mean, that's just my nature.
He has seen some stuff.
He's seen stuff. Yeah, just like, nice. It's crazy. All right, we'll do a couple more of these, and then we're gonna keep moving on with this. Let's see. I'll pick a card, any card. We're gonna choose one. We're gonna leave it.
I'm gonna go with this
one. Which one we talking about? All right, this is where the educational part of this all comes in here. Hamster. With a degree in classical theater, right here. See that right there? And thou hast undone our mother. Aaron says, "Villain, I have done thy mother." Now, could you explain that?
Yes. Actually, in the instructions under the FAQ, there's the answer to that, because I know so many people are going to ask, what on earth are you talking about? So that is considered history's first your mom joke. I forget what play it is. It's from Shakespeare, but it is literally saying, well, yeah, well, your mom. And I found it somewhere. I wrote it down like in the notebook. I'm like, someday I'm going to get the first your mom joke into something. And this is the game that I got into.
Thank you, Bill Shakespeare. Thank you. But anyways, the artwork for these are fantastic. I mean, they're incredible. I mean, just looking at them, that's the one thing, especially when it comes to comedy, is that you can look at something and just laugh on the sight gags. Sight gags are incredibly hard. You know what I mean? Because like, there has to be so much like elements that are going with it. Like I said, when I pointed out the duck with the serrated blade, we didn't talk about this one, the self-aware Roomba. Yeah. And he has like a katana right there, the sword.
Katana. Yeah.
Katana. Yeah. I was just like, oh my god. So these are absolutely great, and definitely, I know there are other characters that got on the chopping block. Yeah. I know we can't have them in the game for this time, but like you said there might be an unhold here.
Maybe someday.
Hey,
gotta get through this part first.
So hey, everybody, get kick-started on this right now, all right? So we can get some more of this, all right? Because these are fantastic. These are fantastic. So let's talk about production. Let's talk about the inception. Let's talk about it all.
Yep.
Let's talk about play testing, all right?
Yes.
How do we make it work? How do we optimize it? So tell us about that process.
So play testing, if you are ever making a game, the most important thing you do is play testing. Mm-hmm. Not only because you got to make sure the game works, people understand the instructions.
Yes,
much more difficult than you think it's going to be, but also you got to make sure people are having fun.
Yes,
like a lot of times, like.
And how do you measure that? Like, do you sit watching them play?
Yeah.
Like, how do you? Okay.
Anytime I have people play test a game, the first round, I don't pay attention to whether they're playing it right. I don't pay attention to almost anything other than their faces.
Okay.
And I'm like, are they having fun? Mm-hmm. Are they laughing? Mm-hmm. Are they turning against each other? Like, what is the actual emotional experience that they're having?
You're like a single mother turning everybody against each other. It's like those are the criteria.
Yes.
Fun. Turning against all this.
You can go to Disneyland, but only if you get your brother to clean his room.
This is brilliant, brilliant.
But yeah, you got to pay attention to people's emotional reaction to it. Of like, there's games out there that what people want from it is like an emotion of feeling strategic or conquering something that's super complicated and it takes a lot of time and effort to get. And then there's stuff that I make, which is most of the time I want you to laugh, I want you to have fun. I want you to make the person beside you cry because you were so much better. So, like, that's the main thing I'm looking for. It's like, is it getting the emotion out of the people that I wanted? And so, like, if they're laughing and having a good time, even if they're playing it wrong, because let's be honest, a lot of times everyone plays the games wrong.
Oh yeah,
Monopoly still play it wrong. Apparently, so is Uno.
Oh, and you saw that in the news?
Yes, apparently everyone has been playing Uno.
I love how we rejected it. Everybody's like, no, we don't care.
Uno's ours now. We don't decide what the rules are.
It became the people's game.
Yes. So like, as long as people are having fun, I'm happy.
Okay.
Like, do I make sure the game makes sense and plays correctly? Yeah. But if they're playing it correctly and not having fun, it's kind of a moot point.
There you go. Yeah, I mean that's the most important part. I mean, with these games, like, because nowadays you want a certain degree of escapism. You mean you want to just because nowadays everybody's got their struggles, everybody's got something going on, and play this game and just forget about all that, have fun, be present with the people around you playing, even though you might be betraying them, yes. Right? You know what I mean? And
in a fun way.
In a fun way, of course. Yeah. Not in a Shakespearean, Machiavellian way, just in a ha-ha way.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But that's what's important. So tell me a little bit more about how you're going to get this game made.
Okay. So for all of our games, we have worked with Longpack. We first run with them for Don't Get Stabbed. When I started looking into okay, who would I partner with to get this made, Longpack is the one that kept coming up. It's good quality, it's a great company. Mm-hmm. When you wire them money, you're actually going to get a product. That company isn't going to mysteriously disappear. So, when you're taking someone else's money to pay for that, those are the due diligence things you have to do. So Longpack, they've been amazing partners. I've maybe had one or two minor issues, and every time they're like, "Okay, we'll fix it," and they fixed it. When I say issue, I mean minor inconvenience.
Yeah.
So they've been amazing to work with. I'm never going to probably use anyone other than them to make games. Anyone that's ever made a Kickstarter knows that as soon as your Kickstarter gets up, you get 500 messages from all these different companies saying, "Hey, we'll make your game. It'll be the cheapest you could make." So if you're one of those companies, don't message me. I'm already decided I'm using Longpack. I'm gonna save you time.
He's faithful, all right? He's faithful.
I am dedicated in a committed relationship with Longpack.
That's awesome. So walk me through what types of problems can come up, during the manufacturing, creating, all that stuff.
So a lot of times it's figuring out making stuff fit correctly in the template, because when I make prototypes, I make them kind of one way, but then when it gets to the mass production, they need stuff done a different way. Okay. You could use that color here, but you can't use it here. I have no clue why. But they say I can't, so I change it.
Go with it, yeah.
So a lot of it is just these really kind of little weird minor things that pop up. And thankfully, this is my 6th game, I'm used to it. I know, and I can prevent some of it of I can't put that there, because I know when it goes to production, they're not gonna like it. They're gonna be like, our template doesn't quite work that way, you need to move over this or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's been really great of I've been able to do this so many times that I can streamline that process a little bit. A lot of it is working with them. The Longpack does amazing. Really the hardest part is getting them from Longpack into my warehouse, where then I can make sure everyone gets the games.
Very good.
So with with COVID and everything else that happened, it just became a nightmare. Stuff went from when I paid for the games, it would take 4 months, and then I had them here and I could send them out to people. Then it went to 8 months. And sometimes you just don't know.
Yeah.
There's had times where I'm oh, I'm never going to get these. And then I get a call of hey, I'm parked outside your warehouse door with 7 pallets. Where are you? I'm I'm at home because I didn't think you were coming. But apparently they showed up that day. Yeah. So there's this unpredictability. It's supposed to be a lot better now. I'm waiting for some new games after the holidays. We did kind of a big yearly order. So far this process has been better. But there's so much unpredictability in the freight lines and supply chains and stuff, that stuff might take longer, stuff might take shorter. You don't know. But I've got a timeline in the Kickstarter page with the asterisks of it might take a little bit longer, but you're gonna get this. I know how to do this. Sometimes it's just you wait longer than you want.
Yeah. Well, all good things. Sometimes you gotta wait a little longer with this. And like I said, you look for the best quality in the company and all that stuff, and it seems like you have that with Longpack. So that's good. It's good. So tell me a little bit more. How are we gonna get these games from China to here?
So I use a company So originally I used one company that worked with Long Pack, and they did great. But then when COVID happened, they kind of were like, "Yeah, we can't do stuff anymore."
Yes,
All right, well, I have games waiting to get here. How do I get them here then? And I had to figure it out. So like I had some connections from some previous jobs. So like I called around and like, hey, who can I talk to handle this? And they put me in touch with this guy named Richard, who's a freight forwarder, I think is what his official title is.
Okay.
But he is amazing because I give him money and then I don't have to worry about it.
That's the best part about money.
He just makes it show up. It's like magic. Like
he's the prison magician.
Yes. But like it was just like this nightmare of like I have to somehow in like 2 months learn logistics of like I worked in marketing before.
Yeah.
I have no clue. Like I can barely get myself to work. Like get someone to get a product from China to here.
And that's an interesting thing that I know you discussed in the previous interview, that marketing, that's one aspect of a business.
Yes.
And then you became the CEO and everything.
Yes,
That's an interesting jump. That's pretty cool and impressive.
Yeah, thanks. Well, Richard saved my butt.
There you go.
So thank you, Richard.
Richard, you're the best.
I'm going to send you a bottle of whiskey.
Well, anyways, thank you so much for having us come down here. This was absolutely incredible to talk to you about Nuns with Nunchucks, launching March 28th. That's a Tuesday. Get ready for it. It's on Kickstarter, right?
It'll be on Kickstarter early morning. So
all right.
I will be getting up early to do it.
Well, we're looking forward to it.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you so much for having me on.
Thanks for coming. I appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks.